in the front, fill in the front. We're gonna get started up here in a minute. All right, for the second time, just have a seat, please, so we can get started. Thank you. Girl, we are not at home. Thank you. All right, so we have the whole senior class here for the most part, and this is going to be live streamed into the rest of the advisory classes in the building. So basically, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, what are we doing here? We are becoming a no place for hate school, all right? So listen, basically that means, you know, as administrators, as adults in the building, our number one job is to try to keep you safe. Secondly, we want you to feel welcomed and appreciated when you come into the building. And then with all those things happening, then we can educate you the best way possible, right? So we've worked hard. I think you all recognize we've worked hard to try to make this a more inclusive environment as a school. Do you guys recognize that we've worked hard at that? Yeah. Yes or no? Yeah. Yes? All right, cool. I like the call and response, all right? So, we have worked really hard on it. All the administrators, all the staff has worked hard. But today, in our cause to become a no place for hate school, we're having a panel discussion with some students that you might not usually hear from, and some perspectives that you might not usually hear from, okay? Remember that their opinions are their own, their voices are their own. As they might be speaking for different subgroups, they're not the voice of that subgroup. They are a voice of that subgroup. Do you guys understand what I mean about that difference between those two things? They're not the voice, but a voice, okay? So it's important that we hear their perspective, recognizing that other people in the building probably have the same perspective, and just give them your undivided attention, and please give them positive energy, man. That's what it's all about. Nothing about this is negative. We're just trying to make this a more positive place. You guys in that with us? All right, let me hear you guys in it with us? All right, man. All right, I appreciate you. So, I'm going to introduce our moderators, our MCs for today. We have Sydney. Simone. Julia. And Chris Malin. And they'll introduce our panelists. Thank you.
Good morning, Bulldogs, and welcome to the No Place for Hate panel. Today, we are delighted for everyone to join us in this event.
We have brought together a panel of people of diverse backgrounds and experiences in a school setting. Some students represent neurodivergency through struggling with ADHD, some students are immigrants, and some students identify with LGBT+.
Each of these people have volunteered to express their experiences, so please be respectful of each other. Speaker.
Now first up, we have our seniors. We have Iceland Florencio, Eric Sandoval, and Samantha Coyman.
And for our juniors, we have Emerald Frank and Brian Guerra.
For Samantha, Eric, and Iceland, how does your background affect your perspective on education?
My background affects my education because my parents are from Guatemala and they work very hard to get here. So in order for me to give back to them, I gotta work hard and become successful and be a good role model to my younger brother, younger sister, and the rest of my family.
Growing up in the Dominican Republic, I witnessed firsthand how hard it is for some people in my country to gain access to education. So being here in the United States has like made me appreciate the true value of what is education and give my best effort, since some people in my country don't have this opportunity.
Bless you. I think I'm Haitian American, so my parents know the struggle. They know that it was really hard in Haiti, and they know the power of education and how important it is. So when you lack it, and when your parents are the ones that lack it, and they are pushing you to get it and try to understand whatever, it gives me like an appreciation. It gives me like this hope that I'm going to do better. Yeah.
This question is for Emerald and Eric. In what ways do you feel supported at school, and what is an area you feel you need more support in?
In school, personally, I feel pretty academically supported. If I really need help with any class or tutoring, I know I have someone I can go to, whether it be a friend or a teacher, or even a guidance counselor. Support also for my mental health, or if I'm having a bad day, I get a lot of support from guidance, and that's really an important thing. I do think that there is some disconnect sometimes with certain people in this school, but I think that's also with anybody in the world. So it's really how I feel.
I feel supported in school by being a part of different groups. I was a part of the football team. I'm part of the mental card leadership group, and those people become like kind of your family since you know them for a while. So they always got my back, and I feel supported from my friends. My friends Denise and Jakai, they always got my back, and they always support me in whatever I do. So that's how I feel supported. There's no other areas I feel like I need support in school.
Okay. This next question is for Emerald and Brian. How has the school climate shifted in your time at Benel?
I would say that I didn't really get like a real feel of the climate my freshman year because of COVID. I can only base it off my sophomore and junior year. I would say that the climate is shifting more towards a positive way and an accepting way. Now my junior year, I have more friends of different backgrounds and sexualities and different people from different groups and stuff like that.
I can agree with that. I would say freshman year I was online mostly, so there wasn't really a feel of a school environment. I came into sophomore year feeling like a freshman because I didn't know anything. I was still new to the school. The climate itself, though, I believe it switched to a less judgier environment, maybe, if I could say. I think I'm very more open of being who I am. I have no fault to it, and I think everyone is pretty accepting of that now.
This next question is for everyone. In what way does your home climate affect your success at school?
So at home, I'm a very busy person. I have to take care of my house, my mom, and my dad and my sister. So schoolwork can get stressful, but I manage.
My home climate is very supportive. My parents are very supportive and push me to strive my best for school and education. So whenever I come to school, I got to give my best for them.
I am in the DCF system. My family was, and so it's always a lot of court cases for some reason, or another situation with a family issue, or with my little brother. And I think it gets a little stressful sometimes, but I try to leave it the best at the door, and the school is pretty good with giving people breaks or something, so.
Coming from a single parent home, it's a little bit more difficult because my mom could only handle so much, so I have to handle some more stuff on my own. But I, of course, appreciate and love her for everything that she can do for me, and she's very supportive for everything that I do and all the decisions that I make, and she always supports me on everything that I do.
I'm the oldest in the house, so I have to take care of my brother, and I also have to take care of when my parents are at work. I gotta be like, did you eat? How was school? Did you do your homework? I'm basically like a third parent to him, so it's like, it's a little stressful, it's a little annoying, but I think I do a pretty good job.
This question is for Brian, Samantha, and Emerald. In your opinion, how does Bunnell High School represent diverse demographics?
I would say that Bunnell has done a better job of representing like certain parts of the LGBTQ community and the Black community, but I think they need to work more on the different smaller groups like Asian Americans, Indian Americans, transgender youth, because the smaller groups of the people in the school most likely do not feel as represented as the bigger groups of people, and I think that there's always room for improvement and that they should pay attention to more of the smaller groups of people.
I can agree somewhat to that. I think Bunnell has a pretty good diversity. Wow, diversity. But like I would say in specials or like art, reading. Like I was in Eli Whitney. I did an internship for the school there, and there was a girl who spoke fluent Spanish, knew no English, didn't know how to like say the colors. But like in art, we had the colors out, and she knew the colors. She just didn't know it in English. And we had to like explain it to her in Spanish. I had to say a few words, and I think that in a sense, like we have to get better at like Spanish or any like Asian representation so that they can read it too. Because they come to America and you do not know it, that's not your fault, in my opinion.
I think Bunnell does a really good job, actually, at the larger groups. Black, Latino, I think they do a lot for them. I just think the smaller groups, the quieter groups maybe, they need a little bit more of a push to get into the light. Yeah.
This next question goes to Brian and Eric. Has there ever been a time that you felt afraid or unsafe while you were in school?
I would say there have been a few times, just the environment around me, not directed towards me. There's just sometimes a lot of unnecessary violence and arguments that people do, like people just need to chill out sometimes. But I think Bunnell's done a better job being safe this year compared to last year. They're definitely improving a lot, and I think that they're doing a good job on trying to get rid of violence in the school.
Nah, there hasn't been a time I've felt unsafe in school. We have a police officer and security guards, and I feel like they keep the building secure. So nah, there hasn't been a time where I feel unsafe.
This question is for all of the panel. Do you have a staff member that you feel safe opening up to? Who is it, and what about this person makes you feel safe?
Yes, I do, and that would be Mr. Ramos. The way he just speaks to the students, it's always pushing everybody to do better. And even if you're doing good, he'll push you to do even more than what you're doing. I really appreciate that. And I've seen like, if he messes up and has to apologize to a student, he does it. And I actually like that. So I've gained a lot of trust with him.
There's a couple of teachers that I have a close relationship with, like Mr. Ramos, and being a part of the Mental Code Leadership Group. He's a great listener, and he always gives me great advice. And also Coach Ty. Coach Ty is not just a great coach, he's also a great man, and he's willing to help out with anything. And also Mr. Newmeyer, he's just a really good guy, and so he just always like, if I'm ever like feeling some type of way, like he always try to like cheer me up.
I have a few people as well. I would say Mrs. Garcia is a very big one. She's really nice to me. She's so easy to talk to. I've never felt judged with anything I've said when it comes to her. I would also say the same goes to Miss Chanko, who I can always just run to with my problems, and she's open arms or open ears. And the guidance counselors do a pretty good job of being like that too, so Mr. Amata should help.
I would say Miss Rachel in the school-based health center. I can go to her and talk to her about anything I want. I could tell her about any problems I have. She can help me solve the problems. If I got any mental issues, she'll help me.
I think Mr. Ramos, actually. The short time that I met him, I think he's the type of person that wants to see you succeed and is willing to push you even though you don't want that push. So yeah, I think he's just an easy person to talk to and relate to. Yeah.
Okay, this question is for Samantha and Aisling. Are there staff members that are able to effectively communicate with your family's home language?
Okay, so my home language is Creole and French, and I don't really speak French all that much, but Creole is the main one, and I do not think so. I haven't met a teacher that speaks Haitian Creole.
My home language is Spanish, and yes, there has been a teacher that I've met, and that would be Miss Cordero.
This question is for everyone in the panel. In your lens, how do students typically interact with one another in a positive and respectful way?
Okay, so the students at Bunnell, they tend to mind their business. So let's say I'm doing something a little weird, like I'm fooling around or something. They have a tendency to look and then just walk away. You know what I mean? They don't stare at you and be like, "What are you doing? You're weird." So I think Bunnell students, the only thing you could really do is let the person be. They look at you and say, "Okay, you're doing you. Let me do me." You know?
I can definitely relate. Like, I agree with that. I think that a lot of students now, like, ever since COVID, now everything's kind of chilled out, and they interact more positive, like asking each other how their days are, comment on their outfits, say they look nice or whatever. So that's.
I can agree with both of that. I can also say that there's a lot more care. Like, I can say if I want to go to the bathroom, if there's anything I need, feminine products, a couple toothbrushes for some reason, I don't know why, but they have it in there and they're willing to give it to you. They're willing to help you out, and it's a nice feeling.
I feel like everyone's nice and they always try to like help you out. Like me personally, I might not be friends with everyone, but if anyone needs something from me or needs help from me, then I always got them.
I would have to agree with Samantha. I like how everybody here just minds their business.
This last question goes to everyone in the panel. What's one word you would use to describe the social climate at Bunnell High School?
I would have to say open-minded.
Positive.
I would say there's an Italian word for improvement called migliorare. That just means like wake up every day, and even though it's a repeating cycle, you still try your best to improve something else. So I think that.
I would say accepting.
Improving, I think, yeah.
At this time, I will now introduce the pledge. I will seek to gain understanding of those who are different from me. I will speak out against prejudice and discrimination. I will reach out to support those who are targets of hate. I will promote respect for people and help foster a prejudice-free school. I believe that one person can make a difference. No person can be an innocent bystander when it comes to opposing hate. I recognize that respecting individual dignity and promoting intergroup harmony are the responsibilities of all students.
The reason that we're signing this pledge is to show solidarity as a school. We're recognizing our differences and setting them aside to be one student body and to continue the progress that Bunnell has made to become a more inclusive, diverse, and accepting school. If you would like to sign the pledge, it's located at the doors leading to the bus loop, so please check it out and sign it.
All right, let's clap it up for our panelists. I don't know about you, but I would have a hard time getting up there and sharing my truth in such an authentic way. They were just honest, vulnerable. Again, I think they deserve all the credit in the world. So again, one more round of applause for our panelists, please. Also, the committee from Inspire Ed has worked really hard on putting this event together. So the young ladies behind me, Mrs. Garcia, who's their advisor, please give it up for them. They've worked extremely hard. All right, so we are ending a little earlier than I expected, but what we can do is have groups go down to the Bay Wing bus loop to sign the pledge, okay? So we're gonna take groups, maybe one class at a time, just down there to go do that, and then we're gonna head back to class once advisory is over, okay? So you all can talk to each other quietly, but we're gonna be pulling groups like 10 at a time to go walk down, sign the pledge, and then once the bell rings, you head back to class.